Happy New Year. My name's Derry. This is Games from the Dead. I've been collecting games for about 10 years, probably longer than that. I started collecting arcade games about 5 years ago, and being that this is the start of a new year, 2021, I thought I would do a quick walkthrough of my game room and some of the games I have. Some aren't complete. They were just, honestly, I just have too many projects, so a lot of times I have to put them in my game room. And some are not in perfect condition. Some are in really good condition. A lot of them are just, this is my safe place. This is for games that I know I don't want to get damaged or broken, or, sit around in the shop and collect dust. Fortunately, I don't get out here and tend to them as much as I should because I've got so many projects, which you're going to probably see in the videos I'm going to start posting. So, being a new year, I was going to do a walkthrough of my game room, and then afterwards, maybe talk about a little bit of what I got planned for this year. So, let's go and look at some of my games real quick. Alright, first game we're going to look at is Blasteroids. And this was a recent pickup. I'm going to post a quick video in the next couple weeks. I'll post a video where I picked this and a few others up. This thing is in really good shape. It plays good. All I've really done is just cleaned and adjusted the screen on it. The screen was pretty dirty. I do need to put a control panel overlay. I may come back later and put a control panel overlay. We'll do a little video on that maybe. Maybe that'll be fun, right? You can see it's just right here at this edge, that's where they start wearing out first, is on that edge right there. Next is my Centipede. Centipede, this one here is a game from the dead. This game probably would have been parts or scrapped out and thrown away. There's about all its originals, the metal control panel, the bezel, the marquee, the trim, the side panels and a foot of each side. I replaced the wood on the back, the front, the top, all across the top, even up underneath here where the speaker is, and even reuse the speaker panel up there. It does have a new speaker in it. I do have the original Centipede board, but I am running a millipede board with a multi-pede kit. So not only do I have the high score saves for all 10 and free play mode, I can also play Centipede and millipede all on one board. So that was a good project. This is probably the most complete thing I've got right now. I've actually done everything that I plan to do with this Centipede. That was a full restore, and it is in really gorgeous shape. I can't remember where I got the side art from, but I do remember that it was one of the few that had the purple outline on the Centipede. A lot of the side art out there has the yellow outline on it, and this one had a purple outline, so it had to have a purple outline go back on it, or I wasn't going to be happy. My next cabinet is Crystal Castles. This was one of the games that when I first started collecting, I had to have this. I love this game, and you can't see it, but it has the original side art on it, which is gorgeous. This is a beautiful cabinet. Not a lot of people are big fans of this game as far as the gameplay. When I was a kid, man, I was great at this game. A lot better than I am now. I'm just not that good at it anymore. In fact, I still haven't beat the high score set by my friend Wes on here. So, maybe one day, maybe that'd be something good. We'll sit down and do a video trying to get the high score on Crystal Castles. I know the trick to it, but I don't have the skill for it. So, and on a side note, this isn't actually my cabinet. This is actually my wife's. She saw it, she wanted it, had to have it, and deep down I really wanted it too, so I got it for her. I do have, this one has the light up, the little light up underneath the trackball. I did wire in some light up buttons, so my buttons do light up. A lot of people don't like that. And what probably upset people is I have also thought about putting blue or purple T-molding on this. So, other than that, really, this is a working game. This one has given me very little trouble. I think all I've done on this is replace the big blue on it, the big filter cap for it. Other than that, everything on it has worked pretty much trouble-free and has given me very little problems. Next cabinet is Kangaroo, and if you've noticed, that this is my my Atari lineup. We're going down here. But next is Kangaroo, which is kind of a Donkey Kong-ish game. It kind of has a Donkey Kong vibe. Not quite as interesting. You're a kangaroo trying to save your baby, and you got monkeys throwing apples at you. This cabinet was, honestly, it's an Atari cabinet. It's in really good shape. I sent the board off to be repaired, and I also had the monitor repaired. And that's pretty much all I've done on this one. I may get a free play kit and put on this cabinet eventually, just because there is a glitch or something wrong with the free play mode on this. When you hit start, and for whatever reason, sometimes you'll hit start and it'll put in 2 credits, and it'll sit on the press start screen and just sit there and wait on you. The only real fix is a high score save kit, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't really play this one that much, but it's an Atari, and I'm a big Atari fanboy. I love the artwork on this. Really bright colors on it, kind of goofy, kind of silly, but and surprisingly, the kids love this one when they come over. There's just something cute about it. Next is my Asteroids Deluxe. This was another pickup. It wasn't working when I got it. I did some work on the power supply, and I did some work on the monitor and got it up and going. I still have a little bit of issues with screen warp over in one corner. The screen's kind of kicked in on one side, and I can't adjust it out. I have spoke to a few people online that say it's probably in my board, and I'll probably be sending the board out to get repaired. And at some point, I definitely want to get the Asteroids Lunar Lander kit that puts all 3 games, Asteroids, Asteroids Deluxe, and Lunar Lander on one board. And I'd like to get that, and it's a high score save kit. And this cabinet's it's really beat up on the outside. The artwork's peeled off in some places. In fact, there's no artwork on this side of the cabinet facing the wall over here. So, and you can expect I'll be putting some artwork. I'm planning on putting new side art on this year. I did put a new overlay on it, which just looks really good. Man, a new overlay, it just brings out the best in a game. I mean, you know, you're going to be sitting there looking at it, staring at it. You got to have a new overlay. But it plays really good, and I definitely want to do some work, go further with this. However, I got it up and playing, and it went in the game room because I got so many projects. If you look back there in the back, you see the screen is actually down there in the bottom, and there's a mirror, a 2-way mirror. Behind the mirror is the cardboard with the spaceship and the asteroids. And I always thought the spaceship looked a lot like the Y-Wing from Star Wars. So definitely want to get the high score replay kit for this, or high score and pre-play kit for this that's got the 3 games on it. Next, I have my dartboard. It's a dartboard. It's very basic. I would get rid of it, but actually, it gets used. Currently, I have to keep the darts locked up in the bottom here because the kids come in here and they just throw them everywhere. So I have to keep them locked up. I am having an EEPROM issue with this, and I'll probably check around and find another board. It could probably be this. I think it may be an issue right there. But pretty basic setup. It even has this old monochrome monitor, PC monitor in here. So at least there won't be any difficulty if that goes out. Other than, well, I mean, they made millions of those things, but most of them went to the dump. Sad. Next is my Gauntlet Legends. Actually picked this up from a bowling alley that I do maintenance at occasionally. They were getting rid of it. I gave about $400 for it, and I'm going to be honest, that's the most I've paid for any game in this building. Actually, that's the most I've ever paid for a game so far. A lot of my games come from fixing games and trading them. I usually trade them for other games. This one does have an LCD screen in it. It came with it. It's a Best Tech Arcade LCD. It's got a pretty good picture on it. I actually did have this out, and I had a digital monitor that's it had VGA, EGA, and CGA. So it was low, medium, or standard, medium, and high, or VGA resolution. And I put it in there, and it lasted like maybe 2 days, and it went out. So I just recently put the LCD back in, and it did have a little like trim that covered up the top and the bottom there, but I just put it back together, got it up and playing just so, the kids really enjoy this one. I am having a battery issue now, and it's not saving the game settings. I'm going to have to get a new battery. And I forget what that battery's called. It's a special, looks like a chip, computer chip type of battery. So those are my Atari games. Next I have my Street Fighter cabinet. This was originally a Street Fighter that someone had converted to, well, it was a Dynamo. It's a Dynamo cabinet, which was originally Street Fighter. But somebody had like wrapped this with like some sort of like faux leather vinyl, and they had put a wooden Galaga stick in it and had Galaga running on this. I pulled all that out. I welded the hole up, and let me tell you, that was a pain because after I cut a piece, put it in there, welded it up. I found all the original holes and overlay was underneath the vinyl, but when I welded that hole up, this control panel like rolled up like a Pringles potato chip. I hammered, beat, and stretched and pulled. I got it as straight as I could. It's still got a little bit of a curve. It's not perfect, but a lot of people come in here and nobody notices it but me. So I've got the Street Fighter Championship Edition artwork on it. This also has, I do not have a Street Fighter 2 board. I've been working out a deal trying to get one and have yet to pull the trigger on it. But right now I'm actually running a Pandora's box, and when it boots up, I just coin it up and select Street Fighter 2 and leave it at that, which I kind of want to keep this cabinet for, not just for Street Fighter, but just as a JAMA cabinet for running JAMA PCBs. I think it'd be great to have around just to, play whatever I want on it, as far as that goes. So, but it's a pretty clean cabinet. It turned out rather nice. A little bit of the vinyl's peeled here. Down there in the corner, it's peeled really bad. Since it's running the Pandora's box, I've actually got a PC speaker system plugged into the Pandora's box, running off of the auxiliary out port, and it's running a subwoofer. And I've got the original speakers right here that are hooked to the JAMA harness, but the PC speakers are actually right up here behind this plexi, and they actually sound pretty damn good when it's turned up in here. I've got it turned down right now for the video. So, next over here in the corner, I've got Gyruss, and this was one of my games from the Dead projects. This one was in rough shape. I replaced some busted corners. I did a lot of body filler work on it. I tracked down the original Century coin door down there with the raised letters. Man, I still never got the coin lights working. I still never got into that. I don't have the original Monroe stick, which infuriates me. It really does. Missing this bottom piece of trim here. So if anybody can find me the trim that goes across the bottom of the Gyruss, I would love that. And this game worked perfectly when I got it. And then after I got done, I got the high score save kit on this. And then it started doing this. And I've got little dots all over the screen. And lots of graphic issues. And I really enjoyed this game. I love the music to it. But it's, I don't know. I've tried resetting chips, and I even checked voltages. Just to make sure. I tried a different power supply, making sure maybe I had some dirty power or something. And oddly enough, I had it plugged into the same outlet with Asteroids Deluxe. And one day I turned off Asteroids Deluxe, and this game started working perfect. But it only worked once like that. And I've tried like unplugging it in, plugging it in, unplugging it, and plugging it with the Asteroids Deluxe, back and forth. There was just some sort of interference that did it, which is what made me think that it might be the power supply. But I don't know. Probably just gonna have to send this out to have it fixed. I'm at my limits on it. Next is my Primal Rage, which is down. This game's probably on its way out. I've got another Primal Rage board I'm going to try in this. I'm going to try seeing this one just went to displaying garbage on the screen. My other board has a RAM error. It says bad RAM. I'm going to try to get up with a good friend of mine, Rich, and we're going to try to go over the two boards and hook them up on his test bench and see if we can track down the faulty RAM on and see if we can make a working board out of the two. This game, I'm over it. It was kind of cool when I first got it, but I'm kind of done with it. I want to get this going, make sure it's reliable and good, working good, and send it on its way. I've got another game that I want to put in here. So we'll get it in here and get this one gone. And that's kind of what you got to do with this stuff is, you work one, you play it for a while, and then when you get tired of it, you trade for something else. And it's what keeps the hobby alive and, just keeps you interacting with other people and meeting interesting people. Next, I've got my Stellar Wars. Williams Stellar Wars pinball machine. This was a game from the dead. This one, let's see, a friend of mine picked this game up. There was a house being remodeled, a condo was being remodeled, and this was found. He was driving by, and he drove by as they were loading this in the dumpster. They had a big roll-off container out front, and they were putting this pinball machine, legs and all. They didn't even take it apart. They carried it out there, and they were about to throw it in the dumpster. And he stopped them, and he loaded it up, and he brought it in. He had it out in his warehouse where he stores his pins. He's a big pin guy. And he had it broke down and sitting on the ground, and he just put it in there, and a big storm come up, and water had gotten into the building, and the back of the cabinet, it was standing on its back. The back of the cabinet is MDF. It got wet, and the whole back end of the cabinet was falling apart. Luckily, all of his other games, he had them on blocks where nothing like that would happen. But this one needed a lot of cabinet work, and me and him worked out a deal, and I got it from him, and for practically nothing. He was just a really good guy, and I had a lot of acid damage on the boards. I rebuilt the cabinet, repainted the inside of the cabinet, did a lot of work on this. Good friend of mine, Jamie Boyd, redid the playfield because the inserts were coming out and they were really cupped really bad. This playfield was unplayable, but the artwork was really in really good shape. It's just, there's very little wear on this playfield other than where the inserts had come loose. So I almost think this pinball machine broke down and then they just plugged it in and just left it sitting there for looks. Because it was, lots of heat damage from the bulbs, but like no wear from the ball. I did put the LED segment displays. I built those and put in there, and they are gorgeous. I really like the red on this. It really pops. I put a few LEDs in this, not all. They're not color coordinated. Probably going to go through an LED this one day, and that'll be a nice project. This is a wide body. This thing is a beast, and it hurts every time I have to move this thing by myself. I usually put it on little dollies under the legs and roll it around, but still, just picking it up, trying to get the dolly under it by myself, or sometimes I have to nudge it and scoot it over a little bit to get behind it. Oh man, this one, it's a monster, but it's a really good game. I enjoy it. This one will probably never leave. I thoroughly enjoy this game. Next is Shaq Attaq. This is kind of a goofy basketball game. You can see it's got Shaq Attaq up there, and there's so many stories about how Gottlieb just was putting out games in a hurry, and they didn't even approve the artwork. If you look, you can see the arms on the cheerleaders here are just ridiculous. A lot of goofy artwork is just awful on it. Doesn't even really look like Shaquille O'Neal up there. But it's got this one actually. The kids love it. I enjoy it. This was a pickup. This was a barn find. Lady asked me to come out and give her an idea of what I thought it would be worth, because she was going to sell it. She heard I was into pinball machines. I told her I didn't have any money to buy one, but I'd come out and look at it. I come out there. Honestly, this thing it was so humid, there was water dripping off the side of this thing. I got there, and you can see the sides are rusty, the rails up here are really rusty. The balls were rusted over. Playfield was in pretty good shape, but it was just filthy. And I told her I wouldn't even plug it in like it was. But I told her I gave her a fair price on it. Actually, I looked it up on Pinside. I told her what it was worth and what she should list it for. And then she asked me if I wanted to buy it, and I said, "Ma'am, I don't have any money right now. I got $200 in my pocket." And she said, "Well, you know what? You've been really good. You know what? Go ahead. That sounds good enough for me. Take it." So I ended up with this Shaq Attaq for $200. So, although I did go back and pay her more. I paid her another $200 for it because I got home and plugged this thing in, and it's been working ever since. I replaced an end link on this flipper, and it's been a really reliable game. I really need to go through and just completely, thoroughly shop it out and do some good, but man, I can't stop a working game. It's just hard to tear something up or break something down when it's still working. Occasionally the ball will get stuck in this ball goal up here, and it'll constantly bring up a score every time it goes back and forth. See, there's a little ramp right here. You got to hit the ball up the ramp, and the ball goal goes back and forth. You got to get the ball in there. There's also a spinning court disc right there, and there's two more flippers right there, and not to mention all the ramps and tubes and everything else on this. A lot going on in this machine. Really fun game. Next is Cybernaut. This was another game for the dead. This game was a barn find. I don't know a lot about where it came from, other than that wherever it was laying in the dirt. Somebody found it in an old barn. They heard and I was interested in, or that I was into arcade games. This was the first pinball machine I ever got. Brought it over. It sat in the shop, and I kind of started messing with it a little bit. I wasn't sure what it was. I just knew enough that I didn't want to take this thing apart and not know what I was doing and lose it. I was scared of it. What I ended up doing, though, is I did go and what I ended up doing was I got the rubber kit, and I started breaking the play field down and redoing the play field and cleaning that up. And the next thing I know, my dad started ordering parts for it. And my dad, I can't lie, my dad funded this build right here. He built a new back box for the back because it was too badly damaged. The bottom of this cabinet, the plywood actually had termite tracks in it, but we didn't find any termites. The edges were really damaged, so let me see if I get my light back on again. I've got these steel rails here, this metal trim right here that covers where the water damage was on the side art. Side art on this is really faded, but it still does the job. I do wish that I could get somebody to make some more side art so I could get the artwork in the back box back there. I've talked to a couple of people. If I scan it, they said that they could do it for me. But I honestly, I'm not very savvy on that kind of stuff. But maybe, hey, you know what? We're gonna learn. I'm gonna learn. We're gonna figure it out. Honestly, though, I do have to break this down. This flipper right here is giving some issues right now, and I just noticed a screw. It started coming out up there at the top by the ion generator. So I have LED'd this machine. I do want to add a few more lights to it. It does have some dark areas over here that they just really need some light under them right here. But the LEDs I have done, I put red behind Cybernaut, and I put some soft wine LEDs behind this chick and the cyborg whatever thing there. So the Cybernaut, I guess. But this is a pretty cool machine, and I don't think I could ever get rid of it just because me and my dad worked together on this. So it's always going to be something. So this one here will definitely be staying. Another game that I always wanted that I wanted to get when I got into this was Cruisin USA, and I actually picked up 2 Cruisin USA cabinets. Somebody had these in their shed for years. No door on the shed. He just had them sitting there in the woods. They used to play them until the monitors went out. Then nobody played them. I cleaned rat nests, squirrel nests, and more spiders than you could ever imagine out of these cabinets. I painted cleaned them all out, painted them, put new T-molding. The sides that were facing the door, they had one on each side of the door going into the shed. I put those sides together and bolted the cabinets together there, so it hides there was a little bit of water damage on that side. The artwork was faded, so I bolted those sides together. I worked out a trade with a good buddy of mine. He traded him for the Cruisin World PCBs. I do have one Cruisin USA PCB did work, but I did trade for the Cruisin World PCBs, and he hooked me up with that really sweet topper up there. So, and I've never cleaned that topper. I mounted it up there and put a cord on it and plugged it in the wall behind the machines. I still have not got the driver 1 and 2 lights to work, and I did get a Cruisin World marquee and Cruisin USA marquee. I kind of like leaving them like that because of the looks, and I've got, kind of one of each. But I have thought they do make a Player 1 and Player 2 marquee. Since you already got Cruisin World there, there's no reason for it to say Cruisin World down here and up there. So, I did not get I believe these came with the K7500 Wells Gardner K7500 monitors, and the neck boards on them were burnt up. There's some transistors on the back of the neck board, and they had burnt through the board. I still have the monitors. I hoard CRTs. I can't get rid of them. I can't let them go. And I got the chassis somewhere. I don't know if I don't think they can be rebuilt, but right now I wouldn't mind putting some flat screens in this cabinet. Right now I'm running 2 Dell 19-inch LCDs, and I get laughed at every time somebody sees these because these originally had 25-inch screens, and I'm running 19s on them. I think there's something going wrong either with the LCD screen or with the converter on this one, because I don't have any red. I just have blue and green. So you can see the difference between the two right there. My ultimate goal is to find two 32-inch LCDs and wedge them in there. Since the two cabinets are together, I plan to just cut a notch between the two cabinets and kind of cut a hole and let the monitors touch edge to edge and hide it behind the trim right there. So I've measured it, and if I cut a hole on each side, a notch on each side where the cabinets touch, the 32-inch screens will fit. But I don't know, it's just a matter of putting that money into new screens. The kids love these as they are, but that is the permanent solution. So that's the permanent goals. And I've got to fix, this just recently happened, the start button quit on this one, and I've just got it wired into the, I've got it wired to the radio button right now. So you can hit the radio button to start a game. My light's not going to work. Yeah, you can just hit the radio button and it works. So, I've never, I redid this coin door. Got this one looking all good. That one there, I think I just cleaned it up and put it back together. I've never redone the coin door on that one. So, other than that, these cabinets are all cleaned up and are actually really, really sharp once you get them out in the light. So they turned out really nice for a couple of pre-dead machines. So, I mean, these seats were so filthy. I tore them apart and washed them with a water hose and a bucket of soap and water. They're plywood bottom, or the wood was plywood, but yeah, they were that filthy. I wish I could have washed the particle board that way, but you can't do that. Next is Outrunners. Sega Outrunners. And this is another game. This right here is a game from the dead for sure. This was an early game I bought. It was in terrible condition. It was in such bad shape. The guy I got it from tried to talk me out of it. But I wouldn't listen to it. When you start out, you got to learn the hard way. But it's taken me like 4 years, and I've gotten this far with it. Mainly because it's too big to leave. It's just I can't really move it around. I had no choice but to fix it. I've repainted all the plastic on it. Had to Bondo and JB Weld all this plastic together. This was all busted and broken around this key right here. Bondoed that, filled it all in. JB Weld reinforced it. In fact, all these bolt holes, I had the JB Weld washers behind them to reinforce it to hold them all in place. That plastic was just so flimsy and weak. It's got the radio down here that tells you what to do. Turn the ignition key. I've replaced both of these panels here. Go ahead, try finding a set of those, because these were busted on they're originally busted. Top one up here is still cracked, but it goes together pretty good, so you don't ever notice it. This one, I don't know. This is one that I really liked back in the day, playing in the game room, and it hasn't aged well. It hasn't. The kids still enjoy it. Next step on this is redoing the seats. There's let's pull that seat cover off of there. Take a look at it. You can see the seats are pretty beat up. The speakers are completely blown out. But I've got the other one sitting over there somewhere. But I've got this one. It's just kind of hooked up. I think last time I finally got this thing going, and that's pretty much how it's set. The kids have been playing it ever since. But unfortunately, the speakers are in the seats, so I have to get working seats for it. So back over here. Pay no attention to this guy. I'm not an Arcade 1-Up fan, but somebody was actually getting rid of this. I think I gave $50 for this at a yard sale. It's the Golden Tee. And I actually want to build a little multicade out of it because it's small enough that it can sit out of the way and, be all right for, a little cheap multi-cabinet. So, that'll be a project in the future. Like, I don't have enough projects. Next is Hydro Thunder. And Hydro Thunder is currently dead. I had the monitor. I pulled the monitor out, sent the chassis out to be repaired, and got the monitor working, put the monitor in it, and it hasn't worked since. Game was working fine until I changed the CRT. So I don't know what I've done to it. I've been following a lot of things and checking on it, and where was I the last time? I checked the power supply, was fine. In fact, there's the power supply right there. There's the power supply sitting right there. It all checks out good. I don't know. Something I have been over and over and over. It's giving me a hardware failure code. It just says hardware failure. The beep. I forget how many beeps it was, and I looked it up. And it says hardware failure. It's been a while. It's been a busy year, but hey, it's a new year, so we're gonna get through it. Okay, next is my Midway Sports Station. This is a NFL Blitz 2000 Gold and NBA Showtime. And it is, there it goes. It has just started doing this tonight, but it's rebooting after it warms up. In fact, I'm going to power this down and probably not even turn it on again tonight. There it went right there. So, man, there's our next project right there. Could be a power supply, could be a bad connection somewhere. But this has Blitz and NBA Showtime on there. Both games. Actually, this is a universal cabinet from Ice. It's in pretty rough shape. It's not a very space-friendly cabinet. I'm not really fond of it. I actually have a Williams Universal cabinet that had been an NBA Jam at one time, but I've got it in the shop. I want to get the full-size artwork. Somebody makes this artwork right here full size, and I want to put that on my Williams cabinet. I've got the 49-way sticks, and I got a medium res monitor, and I want to just, it's going to be my go-to 4-player cabinet. So that'll be another project, and hopefully we can get that board fixed, get that reboot error to quit happening. This is Quick and Crash, and if any of you have been to Southern Fried Game Expo, or if you've ever been to the Emerald Coast Con here in the Fort Walton Beach Panhandle area, you know this game. This game has the targets that come up back there in the back. You pull the gun and you shoot the targets. There's 4 rounds. One's one target, then it's one moving target, then it's first it's one target, then it's 2 targets, then it's one moving target, and then it's both targets, and then the cup pops up, and then that cup explodes. Currently, target 1, I believe, has a bad sensor, and I'm going to have to get down in there. This thing is not fun to work on because it's kind of like an electromechanical machine in the fact that those targets are all on a mirror. They're down there in the bottom of the cabinet, and they're being displayed on that mirror up there. So to work on it, you have to open all that up and go down there into the bottom, and it's not fun. I cleaned this machine one time right before a convention because it's really dark in here, and you can't really tell how bad these are. And then you get them into a big auditorium somewhere with bright lights, and then you find out just how dusty they are. And there was so much dirt, dust between all those mirrors and layers of glass. And I tore this thing down and completely cleaned the inside of this machine. I didn't go to bed until like 4:30 in the morning, and then got up again at like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock the next morning and started up all these machines in order to do the convention there in Fort Walton. So, yeah. But, honestly, I'm kind of tired of this game, but everybody loves it. Nobody wants me to get rid of it. But you know what? You make me a good offer. I'd be willing to let this go. I could definitely use some space for another pinball machine or something like that. So, well, all right, that was my game room. These were mostly some of my working games. I've got a lot more machines that are in various states of repair. Some are in pieces. Some I don't even have cabinets for. I've just got parts, hoping one day to make that project. And I've been starting to video some of the stuff I do. I don't ever make complete videos, but I want to get better at it. I'm going to start this year. I'm going to record more video. I'm going to try to put out a video every 2 weeks or so, and hopefully, it'll inspire me to get more accomplished and get some of these projects done if I set some sort of timetable and kind of have something to look forward to. So I hope you enjoy looking at my games, and I'll see you next time, and Happy New Year. Bye.